Therefore, we need to benefit all the sentient beings, but we are no power. What to do? When we achieve enlightenment, nirvana, enlightenment, then we have power to help others. Therefore, benefit all the sentient beings, therefore I have to achieve enlightenment. Therefore I study Dharma, meditation, now I practice, love, that motivation. Tibetan Buddhism says, first very important to motivation, then last very important to dedication. Whatever your actions beginning to end, it depends for your motivation. If your motivation when you are on the bed, or you're in the car, or in the sofa, you say, oh, maybe I want to harm some others. If your motivation that then you come, pick up the key, go to the car, and go to somewhere you can, because your motivation is you have to harm someone. Maybe say some bad words, We are not shooting the guns, but say some bad words. Or your better motivation, maybe I want to say some things, because I don't like that. Then you go to open the computer, say talk, some bad words. Then other people see their minds unhappy. Anyway, the motivation is very important. Then you have motivation to benefit for help some others. Then motivation, you do all the actions become good. Also, very important to, after you finish practice or meditation or study, is a dedication. So without put the self back, you can self that, then all is there. If you don't self, then you're angry, then all stop after you finish. Therefore, this Tibetan Buddhism is very important to motivation and dedication. Then finish my English. Now I will change the switch.
No, you can keep going. So having studied the Lorig previously, I forget what we're calling that, mind and awareness, or
object
Mind and cognition.
Mind and cognition. Having studied, just finished studying mind and cognition, now we're switching to the mind and mental states.
And then
yeah, so if you understand these mind and mental events, it's greatly beneficial.
And then they tanda and then almost what I'm doing and then I'm so basic program in the
So this text is part of the basic program in the FPMT, I don't know, curriculum, I think.
Basic program, right?
Yeah.
So they basically never change Himayenza and then that almost what I'm doing and then that Geshe go to Chile. That's how I raise go to Chile, discussion.
So then
never change important in Mesa, and then almost what I'm doing down, and the appearance of the resident Geshe to the Chile, discussion Chile, come on to send you much in Chile, the basic problem of Shagun Dose, and then put in the banners.
Okay, so then having, since this text is really important and meaningful, Lama Zopa Rinpoche had a discussion with Geshe, so all the various teachers and Geshes associated with FPMT, and it was decided to put this text into the basic program, FPMT's basic program, so we can all study it. So that's why it's placed in the curriculum.
And then all like the Senju not just Ganji Senju like Ganji Shipa Machunachiki or is Shipa Machunachik.
So there's 51, there's, Shiba, there.
Sometimes they say mental factors, sometimes they say consciousness.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right. So sometimes it's mental factors, or I like mental states, but sometimes they just say consciousness, Shepa, and there are 51 divisions, like 51 different types that are discussed in the text.
근데 이나 된지 시방법중 같이 되나라 나도라 배쳤다니 나도 고약하지 그랬어. 나도 고약.
So we need, it's necessary that we use 배치당.
야 배쳤다.
That we use the knowledge of these 51 mental events or mental states.
아니 가시가 나도 동아처리 그래서 나도 고음 말했어.
Among the 51, there are some that we need to keep and make use of. And then among the, some of them, we need to throw away.
You should have a microphone. I need to talk to you after this and convince you to take my place.
Better as a peanut gallery.
No, she's very good. So what she said. So among the 51, there are some that we need and some that we need to get rid of.
Yeah, some that we need to keep for our daily life. Some that we don't need. They bring us more sufferings. Therefore, we are check out, give up, go away, throw out, maybe put the trash back. But therefore, we need to identify what kind of mind we need, what kind of mind we don't need, which mind necessary we need, we study, meditation we need. Then what kind of mind give for us more sufferings? Therefore, we identify all the different minds. Then easy to, if possible, easy to control our mind. Otherwise, we don't know which was good, which was bad. For example, when we go to a restaurant, everybody knows the fruits names. Then they know, okay, this fruit is good. I will like that. We can read all. This fruit I don't like. Oh, this, they hate me. They make me more disease. Therefore, we don't eat because we know. Therefore, we need to. This checks is not easy. This is what we call it. Not easy, but slowly, read again, then we can understand. So,
It seems very clear.
Then I'm going to start to this text. Then the text is composed, we call sanctuary. Sanctuary, sanctuary is one small monastery in Tibetan. And Yongzhen Yishe, I think this is maybe
So Yongzhen usually is a title given to the tutors of the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
So he's maybe a tutor of one of the previous Dalai Lamas. Do you know which one?
Eighth.
The eighth. Maybe to the 8th Dalai Lama.
I think some people don't have text. They didn't bring a text with them.
Okay.
I only made a few of them, thinking that people would just be able to print them out. But if you have a smartphone, you can get onto it. I can't get onto it for some reason, but I still think there's a link to it.
Okay.
Otherwise, you just have to share.
Yeah,
if you
share.
want a text, let me know after class. You can make your copy if you can't print it out at your house.
But if you're just, you can listen, not listen to text. We're going to the, how is it, Georgia box.
Yeah, so the Amish first.
Yeah, from Amish, then,
Yeah, the promise to compose the text. So there are various parts of the text that you can just listen to. They're not. And so these mind and mental events were taught by the Buddha himself. Commentaries. Okay, so there are various commentaries on the teachings of the Buddha that cover the topic in here, the mind and mental events, including the Abhidharma Kosha, and what else did he say? And then, what did he say after that? What? The root text of the Abhidharma Kosha.
근데 인다. 내가 샤마 먹고 내가 샤마 누도 제 돈 먹고 제가 샤마 아니 제가 샤마 인다 나야 먹어서 그랬어.
Yeah, so then other than that, there's also the Muto, is it?
인다. 제가 샤마요.
Yeah, just in Chang. So the Maitreya's text,
Yeah, they call inda.
Uta Namche, so the Madhyanta Vibhanga. So there were is also a commentary that includes this topic. There are other commentaries included in the Tanjir, which is over there on the wall. So then he begins the text with his prostration or homage, and primarily he gives that to Manjushri. So at the beginning of the text we have that and the various lamas. Yeah. What did you say?
Inseparable.
Inseparable.
Manjushri's lamas were inseparable in nature with him.
So this is his praise, kind of.
If you have knowledge or not, it depends on your Guru devotion.
Since the root of all our qualities and knowledge is the Lama, then he is
Did everyone hear that? Since the root of all of our good qualities, I really think you need a microphone. Since the root of all of our knowledge is from the Lama, depends on the teacher. So the Lama is the soul.
Because therefore we have to homage to Lama.
Yeah.
Right? The second reason is we homage to Jambaya. Jambaya is Shirkila.
Yeah, because he's the deity of wisdom.
Wisdom.
Yeah. Shirakila.
Shirakila. All we say is Sanjay Shita Nava Sanjay Naya, Landamana Mumbo, Susulaya, Nipa Mandava Yuris. Nipa. Abilities.
Essence, abilities. Yeah. So among the various deities in Buddhism, each one of them have distinct abilities or capacities, and Manjushri here is associated specifically with wisdom.
And the jobs in Chennai, and the Tewachim Chanangi, Nijeg, and the Tita Namatamchi, Nebata, Monga, Kadina, and not Yoroshes.
Yeah. So okay. So I will try to say what you just said and then read it.
Yeah.
So. Okay. So I prostrate and go for refuge at all times at the feet of the holy and venerable Guru, who is inseparable from the protector Manjughosha. Please always take care of me with your great mercy. So he's just commenting on the last part. Please always take care of me with your great mercy, which he is saying. Now and in future lifetimes, look after me with your great compassion.
How many times?
At all times, in all times.
Yeah, two times. Deva, Mahomba, Tatava. Past, future, present, right?
Present.
Please always protect me. Same as mothers always protect kids, right? Then, July.
So then after this he gives worship to the Buddha, the Bhagavan. Power, strength.
Power for compassion. Therefore, Choni Tajina, Choni Gar.
Choni, the two collections. Choni.
Two collections, wisdom and merit.
Yeah.
빼오셔야 저는 이제 전부 술 전부 고메 딱지 또 총인 탈셨네 아니 다 상기 말이에요 탈셨네
So here he is saying that by the power by the force or the power of his meditation or cultivation of great compassion, he managed to to totally perfect and complete the two collections, which is both wisdom and compassion.
대신에 가져왔나? 제시 말바 싸왔나? 주시 들어와 올드는 게 들어가나서 사실 쭉을 쳐봤나? Understood all the things, right?
Yeah, so here, these are the two lines he's commenting on. You have completed the two collections through the force of exalted compassion, eliminated obscuring darkness, and know all phenomena.
아니 니에 제 컨트롤스나 코랑이 가리 하고 코랑이 말이 별지 간가 semchalama 또 반생이스.
Right. So what he himself has understood, he's taught for sentient beings. So that's the next line, clarifying what you yourself have seen for migrating sentient beings.
쪼발라나가 대부분 뭐라 그랬나? 쪼발나 딱딱 라나면 야슈 아니 사실 좀 들었다. 쪼이스.
So here, the unsurpassed refuge here is the thing which protects you above anything else. And here he's referring to Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha of our period. And then the verse directly following below that is his worship of Maitreya, the future Buddha.
아주 좀 된데 남을라 산지 배불까블라야 아니 제가 저번 거 버틴 삽신이
So the term let's see what I say in English, the regent. So this term regent here is referring to Maitreya because the Buddha has come and departed, and the next Buddha who is kind of waiting in the wings as the regent, just as when a king dies, there's a regent that holds the seat until the next king comes. At the time, the regent is Maitreya, so that he has the title regent here. Okay, so he's prostrating to the two. You understand? Changeable. Alright, so that's the term protector. I'm thinking he's talking about something else. So he's this is his worship to the regent Maitreya, who he also refers to as the protector. Oh yeah. So the 6 ornaments of India. So here, how do they? The 6 ornaments, yeah.
The 2 supremes.
And the 2 supremes. Sorry, yeah. 6 ornaments and 2 supremes. But this is referring to historical Indian scholars of Buddhism. Okay, so this verse here, it says, you have been predicted by the Sugata himself, clarified the excellent system of the profound and extensive, and are greatly renowned as the great trailblazers. Predicted means that at the time of the Buddha himself made a prophecy, in the future, after I have passed away, there will come a person who is called Nagarjuna, and he will, expand or expound upon the teaching of the Buddha, making it clear for people of his time. And then after Nagarjuna, there will come another person who is named Asanga, who will also expand and expound on the Buddha's teaching, making it clear for people. And in this way, he, predicted or made a prophecy that these people would come in the future. Okay, so then the great trailblazers, the meaning of that is what had been taught before or established before had deteriorated, and at the time of these great trailblazers, which refers to Nagarjuna and Asanga, they kind of reopened the trail. So Arya Nagarjuna blazed the trail for Madhyamaka philosophy. The trail, so Solche. So, or to clear or to open. And then Arya Asanga blazed the trail for Chittamatra philosophy. So then the final line, prostrate to the 6 ornaments and the 2 supremes of Jangudvipa, that's what he was talking about previously. Yeah, so there are 6 ornaments and 2 supremes. Okay, so in terms of the view, are the 2 supremes Arya Nagarjuna and Arya Sangha. So they're supreme in terms of view? Yeah.
From the perspective of the view, we have Nagarjuna and Asanga who are posited as the 2 supremes. From the perspective of the monastic rules or the Vinaya, then 2 other masters, Shakyaprabha and Gunaprabha, are the ones who are asserted to be the 2 streams. But they're all within. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I would never have gotten that. So there are two sets of 2 supremes.
Yeah, 2 sets.
One set of 2 supremes are the 2 mentioned here, which are supreme in terms of the view, Nagarjuna and Asanga, and then the other 2 supremes are supreme in terms of Vinaya and of the discipline, and those are Shakyaprabha and Gunaprabha. Oh yeah, the scholars of the Madhyamaka. Yeah. So then the 2 scholars or masters of Madhyamaka are Arya Nagarjuna and Arya Deva. Yeah, and okay, and then the 2 masters of Abhidharma are Arya Asanga and Vasubandhu, his brother. Yeah, and then the 2 masters of Pramana, or like valid cognition, are Dignaga and Dharmakirti. And then the 2 how many are there for dual? Okay, and those are the same 2 then. Yeah, so then the 2 masters of Vinaya are the 2 that we mentioned before, Shakyaprabha and Gunaprabha. Yeah, so you guys, what, you remember because you have so many vows?
No.
He's saying if you were to ask about who are the 2 supremes to the monks and nuns, they would say the 2 ones for the Vinaya. So Shakyaprabha and Gunaprabha.
That's why you know it and I don't. No, it's good. Leave it there. She needs it.
No, actually, because it's being recorded, actually, it doesn't make you should have it on Yeshe because it's being
It
recorded.
is, yeah,
So
yeah,
And
people
you're
can hear
contributing
it.
so
So
much,
people
it's
can
not
hear
fair
it,
for
yeah.
everybody listening online and then for the recording later if you're not recorded.
Don't worry about it. Your motivation is definitely better than mine, so
Don't know about that one.
오케이? 어떻게든 가도 다 대상상이 진주 초이서 다 내려서 진주 초니까 야가자 된다고 하는 야가
Gedu.
최선 야가
The six
Gedu,
ornaments. and the two sides.
겐주
So these are the 6 ornaments and the 2 supremes.
군주 최선 야가 됐어.
Yeah, they're all Indian.
Okay. Now, right now, the holiness make 16 arhats. Build to the
The 17 panditas of
Panditas.
Nalanda.
Naranda.
So I hope I don't have to name all of these.
Yeah. Even I don't have the names. But
So the
do you say we have the picture on the corner?
Yeah.
There were 16 old Panditas from Nalanda monastery.
There's a picture in the corner with
You see?
Shakyamuni Buddha in the center, surrounded
Yeah.
by.
it's facing
They're
again,
Panditas,
facing
yeah.
that wall over there.
So
Oh, okay.
those are the
Yeah,
17.
yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
So there are 16.
These guys, the troublemakers, they are very difficult. Study.
Actually, in the same pictures over here.
Oh, yeah, we are small one,
Yeah,
yeah?
this one is signed by His Holiness, and
Yeah.
this one is signed by Lama Zopa.
Yeah, oh yeah. Therefore, they all put the texts, all the texts above here, just
Yeah.
there. All the texts are commentary from the Buddha's teaching. Who's composed the 17 Vedas, all the Tibetan texts over there, we just keep them, we don't want to bring back. We don't want to open.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is that the texts are very challenging.
Source material.
It's very challenging because they are nitpicking the very fine points of the doctrine and opening them up, and you have to wrestle with it. Yeah.
Because usually holiness is rest. The kanjur, this is called kanjur, there will call danger. He said, this is not just you put the outer, you have to, this is your study book. But we say, okay, but I'm sorry to do it. We pick up a couple, we pick up, the Dzotsawa, Mutojin,
Yeah.
they're all there, we can pick up, we don't pick up all that.
Yeah, so there are some of the texts, the root texts of Abhidharma Kosha and the Abhisamaya Alamkara text, for example, are studied in the monastery, but those are only 2, really. Actually,
There are 5, usually.
yeah, there's 5 major works in the monastery, but still, that's only 5, and you can see there's clearly more than 5 over there.
But anyway, everybody understand I really told you, kanjur, what is kanjur, what's danger. Kanjur lamna, rang sumbabo, sanjela, sanjela sombe, techuina, gas, kanjur.
So the meaning of the term kanjur is those words which were uttered, the utterer of whom was the Buddha himself.
Buddha is sanjay marina,
Yeah.
not only Buddha Shakyamuni.
Well, it's any Buddha.
Any Buddha.
Any Buddha. Yeah.
Okay? They, to percolate manjo, kanjur is ka.
Yeah, so ka means the word or the speech, and it's referring to the word or the speech of a Buddha.
And then rang sumbabo, sanjay marina, tenju tenchu telaman, telaman tenchu lavres, tenchu ka lavres.
So if the speaker of the words recorded in the text, the commentary or whatever, is not the Buddha, then those are called shastras, which the Tibetan word for that is tenchu, and then tengyur is like the...
Tenchu percolate dangerous.
Yeah, so it's the translation of the tenchu, the shastras.
Then I heard some Tibetans say, tenju means, what is tenju? Tenju means tenju so, don't open.
Tengito, I don't know.
Tenju. The Buddha then tenju so,
The
men altar.
principal support, right? Ten
And
is...
some Tibetan monks, I heard the monks, they was Geshe,
They explained.
explains what is dangerous. Because the tenju so, there could be danger.
it's like a primary support.
Yeah.
So like den is like a shrine or something. Like a choten means a dharma support. So it's like something you worship over there.
Yeah. Anyway, this is not that, okay? Anyway, that, and I know, the 60 was
The sixth Gyentu.
Gyentu Shoni, and Tikalata, Kaji, Pedro Chuden, Pedro Chuden, so Chazon, the York.
Yeah. So then the 6 ornaments, the 2 supremes, and the 17 panditas, like what they taught is all over there on that wall. So then following this verse, let's see, where were we? So following the verse that ends with I prostrate to the 6 ornaments, the 2 supremes of Jambudvipa, comes a verse worshipping J. Rinpoche or Lama Tsongkhapa.
Oh, Rinpoche, oh, was Atisha.
Yeah, also Atisha.
Oh, then you don't show you
Yeah, J. Rinpoche, but he also said or Atisha.
Yeah, Atisha. 다 뛰어오더라. 아니 가디나야다. 주로 나와지. 아니 딱 말을 높아지는 게 셈에 이거 뛰어야 주로 나와서. 그거 가디나 주로 나와서 딱 고마. 아니 그리고 주로 붙여다 나와서 딱 가디나 주로 나와서. 주로 나와. 아바이.
Stay.
Shurona. I need to train my ears more.
I need to learn a little bit with what?
Or I just need to learn Kanke, it's easier. Yeah, so he requests those teachers to remain in his heart. So that's the end of there's a very poetic verse at the very end. Merely by seeing the light rays of your exalted activities, the eye of awareness seeing the excellent path is illuminated. May the Venerable Guru, the light of the Daymaker, the sun, always abide at the lotus stamens of my heart.
Okay.
So then following this comes the commitment to compose the text. And so what I'm saying here is, this is what he's saying, like just for, what I have to say is really of no benefit to anyone else. So it's really to familiarize his own mind with the topic. So then if other people gain some benefit from the text, he will write, or no, other people asked him to write, right?
Yeah.
Tisho.
Yeah, Tisho.
That's good. Turn the page and read the English. It's easier.
Okay.
Right. So other people requested him to write the text. So this is always a part that appears at the beginning of any text, is the commitment, the promise to compose the text. So it's kind of a way of starting out. Respect, right?
Yeah, Guba, Jensen, Java,
Okay. So there's a way of explaining about the promise, which has to do with the cause, the reason, the relationship, like interconnection. Yeah. But he said, okay, now he's going to explain. Jesha.
Object, subject.
Oh yeah. Jesha.
Yeah. The Guba is Jensen.
The need.
Yeah.
Purpose.
And Nyugu.
I should know all of these.
Yugu is in the sprout.
Yeah,
the
sprout.
And then Jelwa.
And the interconnection. So the parts of this commitment are to show the first one was the subject that's going to be discussed, the need for discussing the subject, the
result, the sprout.
The sprout or the shoots, like the result of the subject coming up, and then the Jawa, the relationship of the subject.
These two nuns, they study to master, they know, they are, but usually we don't have this, This is to the monastery, what called Tanyin,
convention.
They say.
The convention that they use in the monastery.
The terms, I guess.
Terms.
They talk about it.
You guys debate about this thing?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Wow.
I'm not there yet. Don't look at me.
I had no idea you would debate the promise to compose. It's tigdi를 DJ.
This was before we die. And in Jesus,
Okay, so then he's following the paragraph just following the promise to compose. It begins with intelligent beings who have in their mind their welfare in future lives, not being content simply with acquiring food and clothing for the duration of this life, thinking, what will become of me in future rebirths, should wonder, I have circled powerlessly in the 3 realms of cyclic existence since beginningless time, continuously experiencing suffering. What is the root of this?
Okay, yeah, you read English, this is very clean, right? We think about why. Not just I've got to eat our food, not enough that. We have always something unwanted, right? Unwanted.
Yeah. Yeah, something that we don't desire happens to us.
We have a lot of sufferings, unwanted. What?
Yeah, so I have circled powerlessly in the 3 realms of cyclic existence since beginningless time. Right?
After that, what?
Okay, then what is the root of this? Having contemplated in this manner, right? Okay, then you must come to understand that these sufferings of cyclic existence neither arise without cause, nor arise from a discordant cause. Rather, they arise from their own causes, actions, and afflictions. So these experiences are not causeless. So is this cup causeless? If you ask the question.
What is cause? What is it?
What's the cause for the cup? The maker?
The maker, the material.
The material.
The material, right?
Is there discordant cause? Right, so discordant cause, for example, would be planting the seed of an apple tree in the earth and then it growing like a tomato plant.
It's possible?
Yeah, is it possible? Can you put in a seed for one thing and grow something different?
Maybe we can cut, maybe apple trees a little bit longer, cut them, we can join the other tree. If you do merit, the result will be happiness. If you do if you do non-virtuous, the result is unhappiness or suffering. If you do non-virtuous, the result is happiness.
Yeah, so that would be a discordant cause.
Well, that's not available.
Right. So they arise from their own causes, which are actions and affliction. After this, we have the reason as stated by Nagarjuna.
와 주소 풍부주의 봐 대자달라 나서요 나한테 그러는 제가 이제 주소 풍부주의 봐 맞으나 얘가 이 풍부의 몸은 주면나 아니 나서요 그래서 나서요나 대원가 레사 그래서 이 레사는 거와라 양양 거래 그래서.
Okay, so then the verse here is, as long as the aggregates are misconceived, there will be the conception of an I. When there is this conception of an I, there is also action. Due to that, there is rebirth. And then he just quickly glossed it, saying, as long as you see the aggregates as real, then you conceive of them as I. When you have the conception of I, then you become an actor, accumulating action. When you accumulate those actions, then you circle in samsara.
안에 제당 따지받은 공부를 소라 대세당 거기 따가 대세 빼나 모두 땡대로 준이요 그래서 저도 건조야 땡대로 준이 대세나 대세 켜봐 간제 땡대로 준 대세지 땡대 요원자 대세지 내서 내지 못한 거와는 양양은 고대 그래서 다 특수마다 된다 간제 대세.
So then there's another verse by Nagarjuna. The root of cyclic existence is compositional actions. Therefore, the wise do not create compositional actions. Hence, the unwise are creators, the wise are not, because of seeing thusness. And then the Kurukulla, the Yanla Chungi, the Kurukulla Maripa,
Maripa.
Didn't they love
Maripa?
Duce?
Kurukulla. Maripa won't get less are they? And
So, although among the 12 links of dependent origination, the root of samsara is ignorance, here it says compositional actions, which he means under the influence of ignorance, then we create actions that are these compositional actions. In that sense, they are the root of cyclic existence.
거기다가 말이 발레스 남신은 말이 발레스 되게 얘한테 얘는 비시에라 아니 되게다 그래 뒤로서 진짜로 선내 아니 거기서
So the following quote after that is from Aryadeva, the disciple of Nagarjuna, who says, "The consciousness that is the seed of cyclic existence has objects as its objects of activity." And then Geshe was saying, like here, when it says consciousness, it means the consciousness afflicted by ignorance. So
the different meanings.
Yeah.
It can depend on their word.
Yeah, different comments on the term.
That term we can throw this Maripara.
Okay, so there are different comments on the term consciousness. It can mean different things, but here it means ignorance.
뒤 올라빠데 나와줘봐. 아니 sem지네 sem지지대네 내지지대지는 맞아지. 너가 말이 내내 껴서. 근데 아니 sem지 레사네 sem로 시바로. 말이 보면 그 sem기 레사네 간지 아니 내지지대. 고와라 또 뭐 고걸 예사는 고 깨사로.
Okay,
so
the following verse, Chandrakirti's verse from the Majjhimaka Avatara, the very diverse worlds of sentient beings and their environments are established by the mind itself. It is taught that all migrating beings without exception are born from actions. So he says that, established by the mind itself means the mind under the influence of ignorance. Again, you have to, supply the caveat there. The mind under the influence of ignorance, then so accumulates karma, accumulates action, and the action itself causes samsara to cycle, or us to cycle in samsara. So then, quote from Vasubandhu, the various worlds are produced from actions, means that the various that's what I just said. Okay, so then in contingent upon actions, the environmental world that we live in and the sentient beings that populate it are produced.
And it's a tragic truth. 코발에 제게 되게 레사에 싸워가는 자기 죽스는다 용어 들으랬어.
So the following verse, also from Vasubandhu, the root of cyclic existence is the 6 subtle increasers.
다 대산이 롱업 지나치는 용 그랬어. 삼중업 지나치는 쓰기랬어.
Yeah, so then these, you can correct me on Yeshe if I'm wrong, the 6 subtle increasers is referring to afflictions, afflictive minds, and that these are among the 51 minds that are covered in this book.
Yeah, inside that, some part that. Let's speak about the truth. She's a man of
Yeah, this has many such statements have been taught. This has taught again and again in the teachings.
아니 뒤에 오더라 아니 그 쇼주 또 쇼주
Juju.
샨디다가 아니 쇼주들아 덕터 지바 탐쳤다 등아 빠데면 봐야 삼대시와 이노시다 수수 등아당 문제가 간가 가지 수수 셈마도 셈.
Yeah. So then the following verse from the Bodhicharya Avatar by Shantideva, the propounder of truth has taught that in this way all fears and the immeasurable sufferings arise from the mind. So basically he's saying like whatever pleasurable things, whatever unpleasurable things, what you want, what you don't want, all have their basis in the mind.
어디지? 야네 송 세다다 빼지거라 강거 취지 등 두고 샘지 싸우다 마시나 아니 샘 소소그 샘 뭐야고 만체가 있나? 대원도가 있나요? 누가만 있는 거 말이에요. If you don't understand, identify your mind,
And even though you don't
even
want
though you wish the happiness, that
suffering comes.
you come to suffering, right?
Right. So that's the following verse. Those who do not understand the secret of the mind, the great objective of the Dharma, wander aimlessly, even though they wish to attain happiness and destroy suffering. So there's the verse which we recite at the beginning of the class, one of the verses among there. Discipline your own mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha.
Don't let you go.
Yeah.
Don't let your mind go all the way.
Okay.
You have to catch.
Yeah, you have to seize the mind. You have to hold it.
Yeah.
So,
Hold that you protect.
yeah. So then, therefore, I should hold well and guard well this mind of mine.
다 dunga다 염대와다 지바다와 아니 도바다 잡아는 다 드바 드바시 원래스.
So physical suffering, mental unhappiness, the various kinds of fear, as well as separation from what one desires, arise from committing misdeeds.
나와지. 아니 된거. 예라상의 교화시 강나강는 로제가 대다되는 수능이 르의 인지 의주제를 다시 가지 야보다 지보다 내고 happiness uncomfortable they're all given levels.
Yeah. So good things, happiness, being comfortable, all of those things come from virtue, from virtuous minds. So the verse following those, by performing virtues intended in the mind, wherever I go, due to those merits, I shall be honored with the excellences that are their results.
암졸라 틀려볼 거야. 좋아? 이렇게 수야보도
Yeah.
내가 내가 보면 최선을 기회를 그랬어.
Okay, so he's saying like your eyes being able to see pleasant forms, and your ear hearing pleasant sounds, and the body feeling pleasant sensations. All of these have as their root virtue.
좋아? 되게 기회를지. 다 문도 방문도 야와. 해럼. 다 대가 있는 거 랭크한다. 하면서 랭크 who's walk the higher.
The workers of the
The workers.
Yeah.
아니 근데 첫 사고다, 매 사고다, 와. 내가 빠빠시게 요하다. 근데 같이 누가 차상
Okay, so then the undesirable things, sufferings, hell realms in particular, the tortures afflicted by the guardians in hell, the slashing of the skin, the burning with fire, all of those various things, they have in as their root non-virtue. Yeah, so it's these detail of all of those are in the 3 verses on that page. Although one commits misdeeds, wishes for happiness, wherever he goes, those misdeeds will completely destroy him with the weapon of suffering. As a result of virtue, the spiritual children of the Sugatas come to dwell in the hearts of vast, fragrant, and cool lotuses. The nourishment of the conqueror's pleasant speech causes their splendor to increase. Their supreme bodies emerge from lotuses that unfold due to the light of the munis, and they abide in the presence of the conquerors. As a result of many non-virtues, my condition will be wretched due to my skin being ripped off by the henchmen of Yama. Yikes. Molten copper melted by tremendous heat will be poured into my body. Pierced by flaming swords and daggers, my flesh will be cut into hundreds of pieces, and I shall plummet upon the fiercely blazing iron ground.
Oh, I'm scared.
Sounds pretty great. Yeah, so this is to show that it's not only the author himself is not making something new or just saying something out of his own thing. This is something that's been said many times by many other like well-known and learned scholars of the past. Yeah. Okay, so then this is, he's now commenting the next line. Just as it has been said above, all of cyclic existence, the environment and its inhabitants, arise through the force of its own causes, actions, and afflictions. This has been taught not just once, but again and again in the sutras and tantras, as well as their commentaries. So he's reiterated in his own comments, this is the topic that we're covering in this text isn't something new, but it's something that appears time and again throughout all of the sutras, the tantras, as well as the commentaries that explain the intent of those texts.
Maybe can you read again?
The same one? Or
yeah, again, next one.
Next one. Likewise, it has been taught that all the excellent qualities of the paths and grounds of the 3 vehicles, the resultant Buddha field, exalted bodies, lifespan, deeds, as well as exalted activities, arise solely from their own causes, wholesome, virtuous minds. Therefore, the root of all cyclic existence and nirvana is established to be the mind itself.
Right? Teresa? Okay, that's good, yeah. Now we don't need to the commentary.
That's very clear.
Yeah, it's very clear, right? This is, but we have to investigation. It's true or not. The text said that, but true or not. For example, one day we have something unhappy something happen, then we think about more than, oh, why I had this happen, why I need to do that. Then we think more unhappy, more suffering. Just we doesn't keep too strong, then no problem. Anything, big suffering, small suffering, first thing happen, then we say, oh, what happened for me? It's for me, terrible thing happened. You think about more. Therefore you move more money. You don't need to know that just by yourself. You're unhappy more. There shows
So according to this text, the root of all of the experiences is your mind.
He or she says something for me. What can I say to back? What I have to do? Just we can think about it. Then we more angry. Then we have more ideas. Say bad words, bad things. Then you didn't sleep. Then you have to try. Then people have to take the drugs. Right? It's for we don't keep our mind. Therefore he said, keep, hold, shall they say. Right? We don't keep, we don't hold.
Yeah.
We just live. Then we say, bring the dogs, go to hospital, doctor gives them dog. They make you man sleep. They not medicine. They make just man sleep. Man doesn't walk. It doesn't help to our mind. It is a 누가 차서 또 직소소 싸와 직생했어. 근데 딱 깨요. 깨나무로 용어로 깨.
Okay, yeah. So then all the various sufferings have as their primary cause the mind. Of course, they have various conditions as well.
For example, someone asks for angry. He says, I'm angry. Because he or she being angry. Because there's condition, no condition. When it's our. So that's what.
Yeah, so the primary, the principal cause is the mind.
코로나가 소소 코로나만 들어왔어. 코로나에 미쳐 코로나 때문에 소소 코로나만 소소 쌤 나와 이러와.
So
if someone shows
if anger arises, or if anger is if basically the Tibetan expression is raising anger. So if you raise anger, then you get angry. If you don't raise anger, then you have a peaceful mind.
No. If someone raise your anger.
Oh, they raise your anger.
They raise your anger. Then you become more.
Well, we say like that too. Like raise your hackles or something.
You put more oil there. You put more gas there. Then you more fire. You don't put gas, just stay there. Then it doesn't work. Right? But therefore, what? Then semda sejugo semda shiba shenda kachigo. The sem sejugo namjam doesn't chugolani is. Therefore, this is a very important to the mind, to control the mind. Understand, identify, very important. Therefore, I say a little bit discussion, all right, about this.
Right. So that's the following line there. Hence, it is of utmost importance to understand the modes of minds and mental factors. Thus, here I shall compose a brief presentation on minds and mental factors.
다 생다 세주고 뭐지 수수 뭐다 얘와 수수 뭐나 딱 가로 세기 근데 얘와는 아무리.
Okay, so then this has division into the individual entities and the divisions of the minds and mental factors. By individual entities, it means like the definition. He's going to provide definitions of those types of mind. And then the division means like the number, enumeration of them.
And good did 냠내나 재밌었다. somno. 다 된다 두두시네. 다 냠내 하이 practice.
Yeah. So a summary of the salient points and their application to practice is the second.
Right.
So then in the first division, we see down at the bottom of the page, the individual entities and divisions of the mind is divided again into explanations of minds and explanations of mental factors. Okay, so regarding the difference between a mind and a mental factory, he provides a quotation from the Madhyanta Vibhanga by Maitreya. That which sees an object is a primary consciousness. That which sees its attribute is a mental factor. And then followed by that is another quote from the Abhidharma Kosha by Vasubandhu. Primary consciousnesses know individually. Just as it has been said above, that which knows the mere entity of an object is called a mind. That which, taking the observation of that very object as its basis, engages the object by means of the isolates or other attributes, such as its function, is called a mental factor. Oh yeah. Okay. So the mind is like the chief or the boss. And the mental factors are like the employees or the helpers. Yeah, so the mind and the mental factors always go together, are always working together. Yeah.
Namasha, they shall some of the same Gabo, Napo, Mabo, Rimbo, Tonton.
Yeah. So to the mind appear the aspect of a thing or a thing itself. Similar.
Similar to
Yeah. Can you?
Number
Okay, so the aspect of the thing dawns or appears to the mind, and then the mental factors engage, like, is it white, is it black, like the characteristics of the thing. Okay, so that's maybe easier. So sight, like for example, when he has sight, that's mind. So like the sight in general is mind, and then the sight that knows, like, oh, I see Geshe or I see him or her, distinguishing is a mental factor. Okay, so the dawning of the aspect or the appearance of the aspect to the mind, so like, for example, the appearance of the visible object to the mind is mind itself, known by mind itself, and then engagement with it, identifying, like, this is Geshe, this is someone else, that's a mental factor. Yeah. So what appears to mind itself is undifferentiated. Is that right?
So just the appearance of the object appearing to the mind itself, that's just the mind's job. And then in terms of discriminating the various characteristics and attributes of that object is the job of the mental factors.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so the mind and mental factors are of the same essence but have different isolates. Tanyetang Ming.
So
Book, yeah. Can you understand what the point is with
so
the
for example,
terminology?
if you see the object as book and your eye consciousness, for example, the primary mind that sees this object, the book, would be the eye consciousness, yeah? But then saying, this is a book. This object is called a book, or this object is white, or is square, or is thick, is thin. These characteristics or the attributes of the book itself, or even the labeling that it's a book, that's done by the mental factors. The fact that this object appears to the eye consciousness as an object, as this, that itself is the job of the mind, the primary mind. But then identifying what is it that it's a book, what kind of a book is it, the characteristics of the book, that's the job of the mental factors.
Okay? More clear? Okay, that is it. But we go down, then more clear, okay? Then just the touch of the just to watch it out. Here, so no reach about towers. So, but I'm missing Chivala. Tipa my zoo, no, but I'm the other Shiva. Draw, no, but some no one to show is Kaka, Kawo to Naputo, my restaurant. The little same Juna, Inco Sejuna, you Zula, no, but Yeshe, because they have to call me go race. Yeshe sent Yovalana, or Jimbo, Mawa, the Kaka.
Okay, so then following is the quote from Gyaltsab. So it is just as has been said by the omniscient Gyaltsab. A main mind, such as a sense consciousness apprehending form, is explained to know individually its object. Just so, such a main mind does not depend on an ascertaining consciousness being produced. Rather, it is distinguished merely by observing form. one should know that the mental factor in its retinue, by way of each of the various functions, such as having taken that observation of form as the basis, moving the mind toward it, and each of their various attributes, such as non-forgetfulness of an object that has been previously realized. What Geshe said is that the main mind, another way to think about it, the main mind is merely observing the form, just like a form appears in front of it and it observes it as something there. Then the mind being like wavering or moving toward the object or toward aspects of the object, identifying it as short or long, black or white, those kind of things, now you're into the territory of the mental factor.
Not totally young much about the child, whatever record she was asked. Before they understand that, don't forget. After that.
Yeah. I read that part.
So, okay, then, okay. Then also this river was the Yetanya Ubatanji, Rabbi Sheshi, the Pache, Rava, Chabra change on the Jog of my Basana, Mibat and the Shagares, and Jen Gomares, Gobamay Ripa, and it was two Sematera, Yelata, was another. Yet in the Luba, Yeshe, Shileki Laji, Shilena, Shilena, quality. Laji, so the Chichu Jenny told me when the Yelan Juba, send you the Yeres, just
so then finishing the quote, therefore a main mind is a knower distinguished by mere observation of the object itself and does not need to be posited in terms of the other attributes. A mental factor is a knower that, taking the observation of that very object as its basis, engages the object by means of the isolates of other attributes, such as the outcome of its function. Okay, so then the qualm and the response here are a mind and its mental factors one entity or different entities, and then the answer to that question is supplied by the Abhidharma Kosha. A mind and its mental factors are definitely simultaneously, which is meant to illustrate that they are one entity. They are the same, of the same nature. Yeah, so the question was whether they are of one entity or they arise distinctly, and the answer to that is they are definitely of one entity. They arise at the same time. So as soon as the mind appears, the mental factor is accompanying it. Yeah, okay. So then the next chunk underneath, just as it has been said above, a main mind and its mental factors arise together simultaneously. Not being different entities, they are the same entity. Moreover, the two, a main mind and the mental factors in its retinue, are said to be one entity and concomitant by way of 5 types of similarity. Hence, it is incorrect to assert that minds and mental factors are not similar in time and that they are different entities, as well as to posit that their observed objects are separate. So then the reason being for this is just this is the reason which is explicated from the little tiny quote that we had at the top of the page from the Abhidharma Kosha, that essentially these mind and mental factors are one entity. So you were saying right? One entity, and they have different isolates. So. Okay, so to explain this clearly, when the mindfulness of an object, for instance, a form, is produced, the two, the mind and the mindfulness in its retinue, are similar in observing the object form. Nevertheless, they are posited separately.
Today in the Sujamas, and the use Zuki more than Ripa, sent down, let Majiban, but Sensual.
So then the when the mind, principal mind arises as the awareness of the object, and then the secondary mind arises as the non-forgetfulness of the object, they're posited as two things, but they're one entity. Mochik. Right?
Yeah, Mochik.
Yeah, so they're one entity.
And Kawata Pambata was so Maris,
so it is not the case that they have separate entities like a pillar in a vase.
The dog got turned the Yamba Kitty, Nashi. Chumi Janton, you want to check out some of the Kuban there, and Maranga Soja mess. And what? Yamba Kitty is the one that's one, but two is.
Right, so the modes have been set forth in accordance with how it has been taught in the essence of the Ocean of Knowledge, a very long title. We'll just go down. And then also Gendu Drup's Ornament of Reasoning, the great treatise on valid cognition, explains that. I think they skipped something from the Tibetan. He said, what did he say?
He said it's not from himself, it's from also his...
Yeah.
That the author himself is making not
coming
up with it on his own.
So that was Geshe-la's comment.
Yeah.
So Geshe-la was pointing out again, the reason he's citing these texts here is to show this isn't his own opinion, but something that has a scriptural basis.
The Tema region, and ranking course century today, Nabangan to the Demasoji, ranking course century today, not to the century shadows. That's about it.
Okay. Okay. So then the quote from the Ornament of Reasoning by Gendundru, the definition of a main mind is that which is concomitant by way of the 5 similarities with the mental factors in its retinue, and the definition of a mental factor is that which is concomitant by way of the 5 similarities with its main mind.
Everybody knows the Kurukulla center, right? Stupa.
Right.
Everybody knows backyard stupa, right? You can see. Then people say, oh, this culture is stupa. They'll remember stupa. You know. First we say stupa is just the assembly, stupa something. That's stupa, the culture stupa. What? Correct. Sunta Ramarayo, the song it was.
Sunta?
Sunta, different colors.
Alani.
But tell her, same to lovers. There is same. Matusala same chiro do us, I'm cheap over same.
Yeah.
Same to lovers.
So the mind, first of all, that perceives the stupa, just generically, like the stupa, is a primary mind, and then, or main mind, and then the mind which sees like the various colors of the stupa, or the type of stupa, it's a Kala Chakra stupa, or it's the Kurukulla stupa, is the mental event. And those two things are one. They happen at the same time, right?
Yeah. They go to car key. Key somewhere to keep Majiba keep. Majig, tell you something. Something like that. This same shit is. Key somebody, Chibarum, Pashido, the dog. Majiba Sumidi, same shoe. Key is somebody, David is somebody, same. But something, you know, Majiba, don't forget. It is same shoe as well.
Interesting. So the car key and the not forgetting the car key.
Yeah.
Is that correct, right? So in other words, the memory of the car key, remembering the car key.
Temba.
Tembo and Mijaba. Anyway, the key and the non-forgetting of the key happen at the same time. So like when you have the key and you're remembering this is the key, happens at the same time, but the perception of just key is a main mind, and the not forgetting that it's a key is the mental event. Is that right, Ani Yeshe?
Well, I wasn't sure if he was saying not forgetting that it's a key, or thinking not to forget the key. I wasn't clear.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Majiba.
So
not forget maybe it's different. Majiba. Temba.
To remember that it's a key itself.
Yeah.
That this object is a key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah.
Key something that temper this
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah. So there was an example prior to that also with mindfulness, and then he uses not forgetting, the function of acting. So maybe mindfulness is a name given by a different character, is a different way of thinking, but not forgetting is the act of mindfulness, not forgetting.
Okay, I think we can stop here.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna try my best to convince Yeshe to take this job.
I don't think so.
Come on,
You're
man.
doing great.
Come on, we can do at least tag teams. You can do next
That's
one.
right. I sit here and I tag you and you sit there.
Yeah.
So let's make it official.
But this is good, this is not difficult. Also not that many quotations. This is also more difficult. When we go down, then it's okay. Here also after that, maybe two different view.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah,
Then it's difficult. Which
Yeah.
one right, which one
Yes.
wrong.
But this is good. The simple part is easy for me. When we get there, you guys will be totally screwed. if she's not here, we're all in trouble.
But it's good. It's very good opportunity to study this. How many people already done this study? No one?
What did you say? What was
The salmon century.
How many people have done this study?
I've studied this before.
You said,
I
did
think
you
we
someone
did.
taught this?
You did?
He
Also,
this.
Devaraj
This is the
did?
first one.
Oh, you did this? Yeah. This is a little tough, okay? It's tough.
I think this one is more like the Lorig, which we just finished, is maybe a bit more esoteric for people. This one is really, to be honest, will have a very clear application, like because you identify virtue and non-virtue, and there's a lot of things to think about that helps you feel like, oh, I understand what to do. The Lorig one is more like, oh, I have a headache.
Isn't this Lorig?
This is Sem and Semjung, which goes, Lorig is more like epistemology, and then Sem and Semjung is more like psychology, like
Okay.
in Western point of view, I
Right,
guess.
I updated the Facebook
Well,
Lorig again.
그러나 비행기 빼져나가면 이쪽 모르게 비차는 셈. 아니 또 처벌 지금까지 셈 주고.
Yiki Ngoribit Sem.
모르게 비차는 셈.
So, okay.
처벌 means
Yeah.
quality
What is
or
it called?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
six characteristics.
Please.
So the essence, that which cognizes the essence of the object is the mind, and then that which is able to cognize and discriminate the different characteristics naturally are the mental factors.
rather.
Actually,
It's two.
He's asking you.
It's two.
Is that true?
I mean, according to what we just read, I will vouch for that. They just told us that like 100 times in a row.
But then we have think about it a little too correct. We are looking at. But we are something say, oh that. Then we say, oh, it's short, tall, happy, looks happy, looks angry, looks terrible, looks very happy. We can see a different way. Someone say, okay, we say, he's Jack. Who is smiling? We say a lot of what we call it. Enough. We say. A lot of waters come here.
Perspiration. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of walks here. Anyway, different come, right? Different mind or different thoughts. You know.
Yeah.
But usually we have most we need the 10 months always together. 10 months. Kundrunga?
10. Kundrunga. Yeah.
Five.
But there are two, Kundrunga and then the other one, Yungenga. So the 5 omnipresent mental factors and then also the 5 object ascertaining factors. So
They most go together.
yeah.
They also we need. Don't throw up the good ones, okay? Don't give up.
Those are less like judgmental, right? Those are more like just
Yeah.
natural function of the mind.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
He said, look at Toa. If you give up Toa, then you don't have any feeling.
Yeah. Feeling is the towa. The word
Towa.
towa means feeling.
Yeah.
If you give up feeling, then you have no feeling. So there is a mind called feeling. Don't abandon that one.
Okay, now any questions? Yeah, okay.
Can you say that the mental factor is a function of the mind?
Semjun is Semjun la Semgi leche girebe. Chele leche. How do you say function? Leche.
How is that?
Chele. I don't know. It's in the chele. Semgi chele. Kechu. Yeah. So he's saying it's not a function, it's a
quality.
A quality, yeah. Kechu.
Because of quality, yeah. Because the quality because also white, it's light. Because the quality.
Oh.
Okay?
I have a quick question. So we used before the example of this book and seeing it as the eye consciousness, seeing it as a book, is the mind. And then all about the book, the color, the shape, if it's big, it's small, how many pages, other mental factors, right? And then what about the story that goes along with it? Like, oh, we should never have used TriStar to print this because it's falling apart now. And if only I had this whole Sultram really to go with TriStar, he wanted to go with Kinko's and like, so there's a whole story that goes along with it.
Regret, yeah. So there's a mind for that. Like there's an app for that. There's a mind for that. Regret.
The story that goes.
That's a mental event.
Oh, so that's a mental. So it is. So then what I just described is one of the mental factors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Regret is a mental factor.
Huh?
Yeah.
So whatever reaction I could have, whatever
Good or bad.
Whatever relationship I might have to this book, other than seeing it merely as the primary mind, primary mind, everything, any possible, anything, any other way of relating to this book other than seeing its ultimate nature, you know, like from a Buddhist point of view, any other possible way of relating to it all falls under one of the...
You can say all the four pieces of the job. Oh, we missed it. We don't want any more this one. This is job. What's it?
Regret.
Okay, so
it's regret one of the 51 mental factors.
Yeah,
so everything's
part of
going to
that.
fall under
Yeah,
one
all
of
the
the
time that.
Yeah,
whatever we are thinking, we are more much thinking that we don't find all the that.
Okay. All right, good to know.
Good and bad, right? Both. There are good and bad ones, not just bad ones. Yeah, and neutral too.
Good, bad, and the, well, not the ugly, but the neutral.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I have 2 questions. What's the difference between the mental factors that follow sense, that accompany sense consciousness, and then the mental consciousness that follows the sense consciousness?
Oh man.
Because Geshe said that the mental factors that accompany the sense consciousness, that they're also non-conceptual, but then mental consciousness comes after sense consciousness, and then that's conceptual.
So semgi yewa nangme di wangshe nga yore. Dine wangshe nga jela semjun yore. Wangshe nga di chosem chetugimbe. Dine wangshe nga jela dine semjun dela wangshe nga chosem la yore. Dine kandesungi di how do you say Yeshe.
Yeshe de chosem tingkoju semju ayo.
Yeshe gi chosem tokpa yore.
Yeshe koran de chosemchi. 아니 tingkoju semju chupachi잖아.
네 semjung당 tokbelo chigorebe kyabarebe tokbelo. So I think maybe there is some confusion because it seems like you think that the
semgi pena 내 모든 통계로, 모든 똑고로, 모든 똑바. 그때 림보도 지주가식이 샘주로. 샘코는 똑고리.
Okay. So he's saying that they do have conceptuality?
샘은 모든 리파.
And the essence of it, the nature of it is ripa, awareness.
같이 지주가식인데 샘주.
Yeah, that's right. So, but
So, you, what's your question? The
So,
difference between.
I think he's saying, like, for him, that he thinks the semjung is like equivalent to conceptual engagement, right? Is that what you're thinking?
I'll make it clear. I'll reword it. In the Lorig, Geshe talked about that there's the sense consciousness, which is the eye, for example, eye consciousness, directly seeing, and then mental consciousness is all the concepts that follow it.
Right.
But then he also said that there are mental factors of the sense consciousness,
Which
like
are direct.
which directly
The
see
cognizers.
the cognizers. But when we explain the mental factors of an eye consciousness, for example, seeing an object, it sounds like distinguishing the features is similar to thinking, oh, that's a cup, that's blue. It seems like similar to the mental consciousness, like what we describe that as being. So the question was, what's the difference between the mental factors accompanying the eye consciousness and then the mental consciousness that follows it?
Yeah. Or you mean the mental factors accompanying the mental consciousness?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, because he's saying like mental consciousness too can also be a main mind, like a primary mind. But then it's, I don't know.
이식이 senjuna kunronga pena tang wanshigi kunronga la kepa yuri yumari pena chinangi Lorig kapsu de wanshina wanshigi senjuna de mare musu dogire ne inayang de kurangi sautangna de pena de de kalburi rushiri des kare tokpa rao sam기도 세상 개발 간데스요리 이식이 senjunga 똑바이나 데 가래 원식이 senjunga 군동아 똑 무스이나 간데스 무스 똑게
나도 통하다 또도 쌍공무도 통하다 가고 나고 가가 시도도 각도 시도 나가서 삼다 똑바이나 삼다 오지요 무식건 통도 가고 나고 잘아
그냥 탄에 있는 데 똑바가래
단
페나 데 원식이 senjunga 데 개발 데 깔깔부리 무부리인데스 이나 데 탄이 깔보 데 똑바가래
단이 깔보 동이래 단이 잘게 돼야 또박 잘 그래요 가가리 얘나 미식이 같이 깔보 통을 깔보 통하는 꿈도 또 그래 나 깔보 해세 깔보 단이잖아요 또박 잘 되고 또박 빠져
You can go.
It's okay.
Oh, you are doing so well. You should.
Give you the mic.
Okay, so what he was saying is that when you have a sense consciousness, you know, that's a direct cognition, right? So then the mental factor that accompanies the eye consciousness will directly cognize the different characteristics, like this is color white, this is color blue, and so forth. But the actual labeling that says, oh, this is white color, the labeling that comes with it, that belongs to the mental consciousness.
The concept?
The concept, yeah.
So that's the difference.
So that's the difference, yeah.
This is.
내가 까분도 들어와 까분 가도 되니로 와서 까분 되니 대 까분도 들어와 까분에 단위 잡을 단위 도구 이시 맞아 엄마시 단위 도구면.
So for example, when you have the definition of color white is that which is suitable as white. One variation of definition anyway. So the actual labeling of that, suitable as white, that belongs to the concept, to the mental concept, not to the actual direct cognition of the sense consciousness. Right?
이나타 마수 까분 저도 까분 되니 하고요. 근데 everybody knows the definition of white.
Yeah, she just told us.
How about everybody knows the definition of red?
I can guess it.
Red.
No, but she told us.
Suitable as red. Suitable to be shown as red or suitable as red.
룰라들이 같이 단위잖아 또 이식만 원시 단위자요 말했어.
So when it comes to labeling, that belongs to the concepts, to the mental mind, mental consciousness, not to the sense consciousness.
Okay. It's very tricky, complicated, difficult. Slowly, if you something open the one, then very easy. Okay, then?
I'll make it very short, the next one.
Oh, you have one more?
So that the labeling is also mental factor, or the labeling?
Labeling is mental factor. It says here, right? Yeah.
Mental factor.
The tani, the semjung lebe semjung.
단계를 생겼다고요.
Semjung is the mental factor.
Yeah.
The mental consciousness would be the main mind, right? The mental factor.
똑바이나 소셈 임백하다. 캡기 대비 아니면
오빠한테 무슨 말이 잘 말해.
하기 말이야. semjung 유래
생겨
소셈.
가지고 또 봐도.
So if it's mental consciousness, mental consciousness comprise both of the main mind as well as the mental factor.
시식이 디베트. 샤워다.
Is it necessary to be? Yeah. So in debate, there's a different terminology. So if you use a certain ending, then it's like a challenge, you know, versus a normal way of asking a questions versus like challenging someone to a debate. And I accidentally used the challenging form of the question. So
She was picking a fight.
We expect nothing less.
We said, 미나 아메리카 매매 샤워다.
Yeah.
So if it's a human. If it's a human being, is it necessary to be an American human being? An American?
How is it? Yes, no.
No.
Not. Who?
Anybody non-American?
Who?
So then give an example of a counterexample,
An
right?
Italian
Of
man.
a human being who is not an American. So it's an Australian, for example.
Human being born in
Now
France.
we can check. If Benji is a Benji, she's not American, right? She's Australia. Why she's Australia? No, you could reason.
I was born there.
If you born there, then we say.
Is it necessary to
Yes,
be an
is that?
Australian?
No.
If you're born in Australia, if one is born in Australia, is it necessary to be an Australian?
You have to say you hold Australian citizenship.
Geshe is American.
Yeah, you're American.
Yeah.
But he's also Tibetan.
Yeah, but
We can use a
So
different
he's the
reason.
common locus of Tibetan in America.
Yeah, exactly. See, she's using good terminology.
right? It's just joking, okay?
Okay, so that was the appetizer for debate.
Okay, thank you. You have more?
One little. It was about the beginning when it talks about that everything is the root of all experiences is mind.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like in the hell realms, I talk about the denizens of hell, like the beings. Are there actual beings torturing us as a result of our karma, or are those beings our hallucinations?
Nyawe, Kandasugiri,
Nyawaba.
Nyawaba, yeah. Or what would they call the lagen or something?
Lenke.
Lenke. The Nyawe Lenke, the Mune Mare, the Semle Jumwe.
이놈 생각 다 나게요. 근데 랭크한테 다 바뀌는 거 파지 요마스. 저 고등이 제거는 고등이 요마스. 나 소소 되게 깨나 나한테 깨기 하는 거였어.
출렁레베 이거네 유래.
오늘 소소로 된 용거였어.
유래 출렁 말이. 남아 말이.
오늘 유래. 같이 소소로 쳐간 용거였어. 용거였어. 자,
Okay, so they're not mere hallucinations. They're really there, but they are only there because they're produced as results of our own karma. Yeah?
So they're sentient.
So they're not there waiting for us.
Mm.
But when the karma ripens for us to experience the sufferings of hell, then they'll be produced right there as part of the karma.
Those are sentient beings.
Semchenebe also.
Yes,
Yes, they're sentient beings.
it's walkers.
They're workers.
I can be born as a worker.
So then they created, then they also create the karma then to be born as workers.
I have so many questions now.
I
I
can be
wonder
So
what
you
they
can also
think is
become a-
created.
if
I
you
can be
guys-
what Shantideva talks about. The denizens of hell. Torturing other people.
I don't know if it's a real was a walker, but kanji 수수고 나와라. 아니 다들 샤네. 아니 샤워 나지까지 내가 즐겨버렸어.
So whatever one experiences, whatever arises as an experience for that person, then they are, then they do the work. They do that work.
당근에 대삼체지 열에 대 무대에서 나도 다 저번이 봐.
So whether or not they're actual sentient beings, they're waiting for us. That's
Second question, maybe not.
That's a question.
Yeah.
That's questionable.
Yeah.
For example, we say 500, what do you say?
500.
League.
There's a
Unit
of measurement.
measurement.
Yeah, there's 500 something
Something
below
there,
orbit.
high up there, then some big iron parts there, they cook you hot water. I don't think that. But when we die,
We have that
we
experience.
have the experience.
Yeah.
Otherwise, maybe the scientists will go to the dig that there.
Yeah,
ground.
you might be outside. You might be in space actually.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fine.
the Earth is right.
They're fine. But whatever we create the karma, then the results come. Then we have feel or
Experience.
experience that.
Like the same floor to a hell being, to me it's a floor, but to a hell being it would appear to be an iron
Yeah,
round.
something,
Yeah.
different way. Sometimes we bring that their wounds. Some wounds we put here. They hide from here. They will hide because they die. They usually live there, underground. We put here. They really
Uncomfortable. Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Salty.
Different ways.
Thank you, Geshe.
Okay.
Thank you, Anila.
Okay. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah. I think she should do it.
Are you going to it?
You stay
As long as you're here, I feel alright. If you're not here, I'm in big trouble.
You did it before you were able to.
Thank you.
Okay,
Problem-
page.
Problem
sorry.
we have was my dialect, Kamba dialect. He's Samba dialect.
Yeah,
We
but not
don't-
only that, also
We don't understand each other.
my mind is like a mess.
Page 39, and we'll fast track it.
Okay.
Yes, help me, Sashi
Koji Jushin Vetotram, Vira Vishin Nidegin Vadi, Sanye Shindu Victor Vadi, Dogan Namba Shin